Today, I did my corporate quick beat because I'm taking passport photos, but if you have a job interview, Zoom meeting, or you just want to look polished on an everyday basis, I went in with the Kylie Skin Tint and gave myself like just a fresh, nice, everyday glow. Because sometimes you don't want that full coverage, heavy makeup. And then I also set everything in place so it still lasts all day. I don't like to put an exact time on how long this corporate quick beat can take because depending on your skill level, tools, if you're not using brushes that are actually helping you get the job done, it can take a little bit longer. And even something like this, like if you have your brows like already microbladed, perfectly arched brows, you won't have to do this. So that cuts down on time. I am going to, well, of course, first I went in with my regular skin prep, some hydration, some moisturizer. You want to let that sit for a little bit, and then you go in with your primer. Your primer should be for your skin type. And because I plan to have this on all day, I am going to use a mattifying primer, which gives the foundation something to stick to. And it fills in my pores a bit, so it can help blur out some of those larger pores. So it depends on what your skin needs. Today I'm not even going in with foundation. I am trying out some skin tints. So this e.l.f. one I've had for a while. I do think it's too light. I do have some Milk grip gel tints. I really like these, but I have 8 and 9. So I guess we can just do a couple swatches just to see where I am. My issue is that I am light skinned, but I don't think I'm light skinned. Also, I have a tan. So, okay, we know off bat, like that's way too light. So 8 is not it. And even 9 might be okay in the wintertime, but you see how deep and tan my chest is. I probably could be safe with the 10, but I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it's like when you get down here, ashy, right? Looking, I do think this is too light. I'm gonna use a different finger. Yeah, way too light. So I feel like I was gonna give that to somebody, because imagine putting that down here, like that's just straight up ash. So I'm gonna wipe these off because I kind of knew those were by a long shot not gonna work. So melanated women typically have 1,000 shades on our skin, on our face, excuse me, on our face. Some people are darker underneath their eyes. We have different hyperpigmentation, acne scars and things. So a lot of people color correct, and that's an advanced step strategy. Right now we're just talking about the basics, just something to help us look nice and fresh and vibrant. So we're looking for a shade that's going to match everything. So it's going to not be too much lighter than the chest. It's going to match the hues on the face. It's an all-encompassing color. So I'm going in with, this is Kylie Skin Tint 8WN. I did do a bunch of swatches inside the store. I actually want to go on this side, give me, it got a little halo going on, a little ash moment. I was trying not to wipe off my primer. But yeah, there we go. So this is, see how it's a little bit warmer. We can blend that in. So this melts a whole lot better than those other shades that I was using. And sometimes with the skin tint, because it is such a thinner formula, I like to use my hands because it's also warming up the products and melting it in the skin at the same time. I am not a finger girl. I actually think a sponge might be good for this, a damp sponge, because it's actually like working with the product. But of course, I don't use sponges, so I don't even have a sponge. But you can see my forehead is like darker. So we'll see what this looks like. I just wanted to spread it out because the brush sometimes can just pick these lightweight foundations. It can just pick them up completely, so then you're applying 1,000 times. So I just wanted to warm it up, blend it out, and then I'll pick up the excess with the brush since this is so lightweight. I just didn't want a whole bunch of product inside the brush. Now you don't have to go too heavy under the eye because we are going to go under with concealer, and I find that when it's less layers under there, it looks more natural. To buff out the edges, pick up any excess product. You see it's not like a whole bunch of gaping thick product on the brush because I blended it out with my finger first just to kind of melt it in. And this is what you want to see. You want it to look natural. You want to look vibrant. You want it to match your body. You want it to feel like you have nothing on. It's nice and thin. I like this piece of my eyebrow is a bit too boxy. So I didn't carve out my brows because I do want it to look almost like I don't have any makeup on. So I didn't do the super sharp brows. And now for concealer, I'm going to go on with a concealer that is only one shade lighter than my foundation. This is nice and neutral, and I don't need much. This is literally just to conceal underneath my eyes. I'm not necessarily brightening. It's just literally giving me just a tiny bit of oomph. I actually probably could have used less product. Because like I said, this is just to conceal, not really brightening, just bringing it all together. I always like to do this little upward lift in the corner of my eye because it lifts the face. What was that? Stuttering. I'm just gently pressing. So you can already kind of see it just like helped smooth out my under eye. So because these are everyday looks, I usually don't do any cream products. You still could go in and, you know, use a very light layer of some creams, cream bronzer, cream blush. But typically because I'm in a hurry, I usually don't go in with the creams because this is my like everyday quick little beat. So depending on how much time you have, some people's skin soak up the product, so they want to have that extra layer of cream products underneath their powders. But sometimes it's unnecessary. It just depends. Is going with a cream blush. Like I said, this is not our full beat. This is just us trying to, I'm going to use that same dirty side. Just adding a little bit of life to the face. But once again, this is not going to give clown blush, which is why I only did one dot. Like, this is not going to give full-on blush. I should still be able to get on Zoom and not feel like I got on a full beat of makeup. Remember, this is our everyday corporate quick beat. So we added some life to the face, and with our cream, can go in and just, I need to get a I think I need a darker one. This one is like almost the same shade as my foundation since I have a tan. You do want to be careful with using the same brush because you don't want things to start getting muddy. But this does, you see how this like blended that foundation into my hairline, so it's not that drastic difference. And once again, you can skip this cream step if you're in a hurry. And if you feel like it disappeared, go in with a little bit more product. It's okay. Sometimes the product does soak into the skin, and you may need to go in with another layer. My foundation powder, I'm gonna go in with this powder. Is this a tiny bit lighter? Just like one shade lighter. Remember, the concealer wasn't a whole lot lighter. And just gently, I'm not baking, Gently setting that in place. And I like to do a pigmented powder because then you don't have to worry about any cast or flashback. But if you do want to go in with your regular loose setting powder, you can go in. Once again, you don't need a whole lot. We're not baking, we're just, I need to put it on the table. Tap off the excess. So it's the same technique, it's just less product. The shades are geared more towards your exact skin tone so it can mimic skin. We're not really enhancing. We're just, we are still enhancing. It's just not the full effect, not a full beat. It's an everyday look. So that will set your under eye concealer in place so that it's not moving around, be there all day. Now I'm gonna go in with this brush. I'm gonna use this brush quite a bit. So I'm gonna go in, and this is gonna set my foundation all over. So there might be some hyperpigmentation still peeking through, but that's just because it's normal, it's natural. But when you take your pictures, everything will definitely mesh and marry together. So now I'm going to go on with my handy dandy Escape palette. And I'm going to have to use a couple because I different shades I'm using. I want to use a more neutral blush. This one's pretty bright. So I'm going to use that one. But let me carve out the face. I'm going to use my contour brush. Here, go in. Get a good amount of product on both sides of the brush. Tap off the excess. And this brush helps shape the face. If you use a different brush, it kind of can have the product all over the side of your face. This creates that arch that you need naturally. So allow the brushes to do the work for you because it's on an angle. And then I do have a nose contour brush. I typically skip nose contour when I'm doing my corporate quick beat. Of course, I don't see the angled brush. It's probably right in front of my face. But we're going to go down from the bridge of our nose. Because sometimes this can give too much. Especially if you don't have that much product on the face. It's easy for it to give like, what is that line going down her nose? Because you don't have so much other product. You might be any eyeshadow. And I'm just going to use this bronzer shade all over my lid. Just because the whole face is matte and you got those shiny eyelids, it can look a little off. But because I'm using the same shade as the rest of my face, it just all marries together. My nose is running. Okay. So now for blush, I'm going to go in with like a mauve type shade. Very lightly. Don't want to use too much. I don't, since I'm doing my passport photo, I don't even want to look like I have on makeup. So that's why I wanted to pick a blush that was just looks like I have rosy cheeks, right? I feel like I saw a TikTok where the girl had to like take her lash extensions. I feel like she cut them for her passport picture, but that might have been in a different country. But I do wonder if they say, you know, your lashes are too thick, you can't. They won't accept it. I wonder. And so I feel like a lot of clients come to me wanting this. Like, they want very little product. They just want to gently enhance what's already going on. Cover up any fine lines. But this is harder because it takes a little bit more effort. I was about to use Bear With Me. I do have a couple more left. Poise is just slightly more neutral. Oh, can you see? Has a slight, slightly, I guess, pinkier tone. So Bear With Me is more neutral, excuse me. So this is a little bit warmer. That it mimics the tone of your lips, but still nude. And this looks great on all skin tones. We love Poised. I'm going to spray. You can go in, this is Next to Skin, the lip bar. You can go in with a Morphe, but you do want something that's going to be hydrating. You can go in with Milk Hydro. So you want something that's going to actually like melt those powders and give you that skin-like glow for a finish. Last final touch is just some mascara. Sometimes I pop on some individual clusters, maybe a natural strip wispy lash, but all of that is not needed. Super simple. But if you need in-depth, step-by-step, how do I do it, Kay? What am I doing wrong? I want it to look like yours. I did create a Corporate Quick Beat whole course. It's a whole program going step-by-step on what you need to do to achieve the look. So head on over to cakebykay.com so that you can order your program so that you can start and stop and rewind and really go in-depth, in detail. I'm working on a model and how to achieve an everyday look.